Well, what you know, Wingman Nation. Hey, everybody, a big old Wingman welcome to you. As camping season 2024 is pretty much officially, I guess, underway everywhere. Now, I got to tell you, this is a great time for RV buyers who are looking for a used RV. It is. And for RV owners who want to sell their RV. But whenever the subject of used RVs comes up, people have a lot of questions like, what's the best way to buy a used RV where you don't pay too much and you don't buy something that's got a huge list of issues? I mean, both of those are really big deals. And if you're selling your RV, what's the best way to do that? Because you got a lot of options there. Now, before we bring up today's guest, if you have ever sold an RV on your own or you have bought a used RV, I'd like to hear from you. Which one did you do? Either buy or sell, but what is the one thing you wish you had done differently? The one thing. The reason I'd like to know is that so others can gain some knowledge from your experience. So when it comes to them purchasing or selling, either one, your experience just might be helpful. So, I don't know, you're acting sort of as a wingman or a wing woman, I guess, for people who are selling or buying a used RV. So if you bought a used RV or sold one on your own, I want to hear the one thing that you wish you had done differently. All right. Up now, we're going to visit with a friend of mine who deals specifically with selling used RVs. I don't know of anyone that has nearly the experience as he does. Actually, the experience that his employer does. They are the only consignment RV dealership in the nation I work with on helping sell used RVs, and that's PPL Motorhomes. They're a member of the RV Dealers I Trust network, and yes, I enthusiastically recommend them. So if you're interested in the used RV market and what is currently going on now and how you can take advantage of it, listen up to my friend Scott Stonehill from PPL. All right, so since we last visited, Scott, a lot of stuff has happened, and I'm just wondering what the market is now that we're in late spring and approaching early summer. How is the used RV market going?
Actually, very good. We're up through April in double digits in sales from last year. So I think the market right now is extremely strong, and we just saw book values increased here in this last book
Really?
on the used products. Yes, yeah, about 3 to 4%. Most of the used inventory values have gone up. So I think there's a little higher demand, and I think there's a little bit of supply shortage. Not completely, but in certain segments. Class C's, travel trailers, Class A gas motorhomes are really in high demand right now. So we're seeing a big push on those segments. So I think
now we're talking about used RVs, because I know the
correct.
new RV business is considerably down compared to,
Right.
it's down from last year and significantly down from when the COVID times. I would have assumed that we would have had a glut of used inventory on the market and that the prices were on the way down, but you're saying that ain't so right now.
Well, when COVID was going on and when the demand was extremely high, and we all know what was going on at that time, prices went through the roof. A lot of dealers out there had a very short supply of new inventory to work with. And so everybody was out there trying to pick up as much used as they could, which drove the used prices crazy, right? And then, once the manufacturers caught up with supply and the supply issues kind of went away, we started seeing that leveling out on the new side. And I think right now, if you look at, Camping World came out with their report, their new sales were up significantly over last year. But I think that's their focus now. And I think a lot of the other dealers are the same. I think those new dealers that focus mainly on their new, they kind of settled on the used and they weren't out as actively and aggressively buying used as they were previously. So we started seeing a dip in those values over the past 3 or 4 book changes, and that book changes every 2 months. So, I think once that kind of hit the bottom or settled at a certain point, now we've seen that demand come back up. What's really good about our business is we're totally focused on the seller out there, what we call the seller, or the person that owns a used RV that is now wanting to either exit the lifestyle completely, or they want to try to maximize the dollars they get on their RV before they go out and purchase the next one, whether they're buying new or used. So they'll work with us on consignments, which is our core business. And that part of our business is continuing to increase. We do have more inventory on the lot at this time this year than we did last year at this time. We're up significantly in inventory right now, which that's good because there's a lot more for the buyer to select from, and our leads on buyers is significantly higher. So I think for whatever reason that used category that we play in and that we're really good at never really takes the dips that the new does, but it also doesn't get the spike except during COVID, because of the shortage of new. So I think it stays pretty stable, but our business model really plays into whatever the economic situation is. We do well when economic times are maybe not so good, and we do well when the economic times are good. So it's pretty steady for us.
But borrowing costs are still quite high. It's expensive to borrow money, and you say you got a lot of buyers, but the business is good. Are people putting more money down? Are you having a whole lot of challenges getting people qualified? What's the situation?
We're not having issues getting people qualified. What we are finding, though, is because most people that finance are payment buyers to an extent, right? They've got a monthly budget that they have to stick to, and that includes their payment, their insurance, their storage, whatever it's going to cost them to own that RV every month and go out and have fun with it. But they also, we've got to meet that budget somehow. So our average selling price, we've seen that drop from last year to this year. So last year's average selling price was in the low 40s. This year's average selling price is in the upper 30s. So it's dropped about 7-8%, which kind of makes up that delta for the interest rates being slightly higher than they've been in the past. So the payment still hits where they want it to. It's just the price point has come down slightly. And you've seen that in the new as well. When you go out and look at the new, all those manufacturers now have cut their invoices by 10-15% over what they were. And they knew that they needed to do that because of that price point and that payment that buyer is trying to hit.
Right. What about the toy hauler market, the fifth wheel market, that with these people talking about the frame issues on certain brands, has that taken a hit, the used market? How's it affecting prices? And are you hearing anything from buyers that are hesitant about buying, any certain brands?
Well, obviously when stuff like that gets out there in the market, people get a little skittish on that particular brand if they're the ones having the issue. I think most of the manufacturers are trying to work with their owners out there that own their products. Most of them are pretty good about that. We haven't seen too much of that at this point. So fortunately for us, it hasn't become too much of an issue on the fifth wheel or the toy haulers that we've dealt with.
Obviously, you want people to consign, their RVs through you. But if I choose to not, what are some of the common mistakes that I would make, that people make when they go, I'm going to sell it on my own? What are some of the things that you see people do that's like they make a mistake, but they don't even know it yet?
Yeah.
Is it the price? Is it the condition of the RV? Is it what where they advertise? What mistakes do people generally make? Some of them.
I think most people, I see a lot of people use Facebook Marketplace to advertise, their personal unit. I've seen people use RV Trader to advertise their personal unit. I think one of the common mistakes that most people make and it's an emotional thing, is their pricing. They're not realistic on their pricing because they think about what they paid for something. They think about how much they owe on something. They think about how much that monthly payment is every month, and they feel that they should be able to get more for the unit they own than even the ones that are out there that are similar to theirs or even the same as theirs that are being advertised for less money. And so I think that's probably the biggest mistake that most people make when they're trying to sell it on their own.
Do you
The
think
thing about
do they start out too high? I mean, is there what's the best approach? Because look, you can't blame somebody for wanting to get as much money as they can when they sell their RV. But is there if they start out too high and they don't get anybody that's interested, it would seem to me that when they start marking the price down, the buyers that are sitting out there that do have the cash, that are able to pull the trigger, are going, hey, what's wrong with that thing? Because the price has dropped so much.
Well, you and I have owned homes, right? And we've sold houses. And real estate agent will come in and they will do their market research. And I've sold homes. I've owned 5 or 6 houses in my lifetime, and every time I sold one, I thought it would bring more than what it should. Once I sat down with someone who knows the market, understands the market's been doing it a long time, and they were explaining to me what works and what doesn't work, then we come to an agreement on how we're going to price and the strategy we're going to take in order to sell that particular house. PPL is very similar in that respect. With our consignment program, we have so much data. I mean, we've been in business for over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we started doing this a long time ago. And so the data that we have over thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions really gives us a good sense. If you bring me a fifth wheel that's a certain make, model, floor plan, and the condition is right, we can sit down with and give you a very, very tight range of where that unit should sell. Now, I will tell a seller, that maybe is a little unrealistic. We want to list your unit. Here's what we can do. Here's the strategy I would recommend. If you want to start with the price that you think we should start at, even though I'm recommending something a little less. Let's start with your price. Let's get it on the market. Let's get the pictures. Let's get it on our website. Let's go out there and let's push this unit and let's see what happens. I will call you in a couple of weeks and let you know what the activity is, so we can make decisions then on pricing. The longer we leave it at a price that's too high, the more people will start looking elsewhere, right? It may be the perfect model. It may be the perfect year. It may be the perfect floor plan. It may even be the perfect condition. But if it's priced 15% too high, 10% too high, and even if that particular buyer calls me and says, hey, would your seller take less? We're gonna go ahead and find that out. But if the seller's not willing to move, we're going to lose an opportunity. So
you PPL, you want the RV to sell for as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Because you get paid 10%, I mean, unless things have changed, 10% of whatever you sell the RV for, you get for all the things that you do, the advertising, that the putting it on the website, do all the paperwork, all the things you do, you get 10%. Yes. Well, if I were PPL, I'd want to sell it for 15% higher too. I mean, I want to sell it for as much as possible because you want to make as much money as you can. But you've got to find where the sweet spot is in the market. That's what I hear you saying.
It's funny. We use that term, the sweet spot, because we've done the research. We know where most of our inventory sells in relationship to the market. And we provide that information to the seller. We provide all of that data. And we sit down, we're consulting with them about what we think they should do in order to move this thing quickly. And I'll ask every seller, because you made mention of, what if I want to just sell it? What if I don't want to consign it? What's the next step? All of our appraisers will sit down with you and they will say, how fast do you want to get this out of your life? How fast do you want this thing out of your life? And if you tell me I want it out of my life tomorrow, well, Alan, here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go get you a number that will buy it from you. Now, it's not going to be the same number that we're going to sell it for you,
Right.
right? But if you want this out of your life now, I'll give you a number that is fair to you and fair to us, and then it's on us to sell it after that.
Yeah,
And I'll get
and
you
if I
that
don't want to
number.
take it, I don't take it. I mean, so
If you don't want,
it
right.
might hurt my
There's no
feelings.
obligation.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no obligation, but if you want to know what that number is, I'm definitely going to give you that number.
Yeah. And then you'll turn around and sell it because that's what you do. And I mean, that's what PPL does. All right, so going back to my opening, if you have ever bought a used RV or you've sold your RV on your own, what is one thing you wish you would have done differently? Let me know down below in the comments if you would. By the way, if you are new to the channel and don't know, I do consulting work with PPL. Yep, I sure do. And if you decide to list your RV with them or you decide to buy through PPL, that's your deal with PPL. I don't receive a dime. I don't receive a commission. That's the deal. To do a deal with them, that's your decision. But I'll say this, whether you are buying an RV or you're selling your RV or you're just, I don't know, curious about the used RV market, there's absolutely no doubt that PPL is the first place I'd go to learn what is going on. Smart buyers and smart sellers watch the used RV market, and that way they get a good feel on where it may be heading. And here's how they do that. First off, they go over to the PPL Motorhomes website. And you can, I mean, it's a huge website, but let's just say RVs for sale. You may be interested in toy haulers. So click on toy haulers and check this out. Check all the different toy haulers, 2022s. I mean, just tons and tons and tons and tons of them, all different sizes, all different brands, all different flavors. And they got page after page of them. And what you can do is you can look at these units. Look at the pictures of them. They've got terrific pictures. They do this with dozens and dozens and dozens of RVs. And if you will go to the PPL website on a regular basis, like many people, I'm kind of addicted to it, you can have a really good sense of what is going on in the used market. There's all different kinds. It's not just toy haulers. Check this out. They've got, come on, go on back there, Wingman. All right, used RVs for sale. They got Class A's, C's, B's, diesels, fifth wheels, toy haulers, travel trailers. I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in all different price ranges. So I would absolutely check out PPL Motorhomes, whether you're going to buy or sell through them, just to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of what the RV market is currently doing. Now, on a personal note, if I were to sell an RV, I would absolutely, no question, contact PPL and visit with them about listing your RV with them. No doubt. Their website is on the screen right now, right here. And we also have a link to them in the comment section down below. And one more thing, another good resource for RV buyers or sellers of used RVs is the PPL video playlist. A link to it, bam, is right here. All right, let me hear from you. I always enjoy reading your comments and emails. I hope you got something out of today's video. I really do, and that you'll give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I'm Alan Warren, the Wingman, hoping you'll be a good wingman or wingwoman to others and help them avoid trouble. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. God bless America. I'll see you next time.